welcome back to my channel. I am Diva Simesi, in case you don't already know, and if this is your first time stopping by on this channel, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. So in this tutorial, or in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this gorgeous wig I have on. I'm going to be showing you how to make this knotless ombre goddess braided wig. All right, so if this sounds like something you're interested in, then make sure to keep on watching. Love you. Mwah. So first things first, I'm just going to go into the products we're going to be using. I'm going to be using this darling attachment. Actually, I saw this attachment at my local beauty store and really liked it. I just really liked it. I don't know, but I didn't like the tip. So I went ahead to add this darling attachment to the tip of that one. All I had to do was cut this into 4. I actually cut it into 4 because I didn't want a long, like a very long hair or braid. So, and I stretched it. I didn't stretch the other one because it's already pre-stretched. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead to cut that into 4. And I stretched it off camera because I already have videos I stretched my hair. So I'm going to use my mesh cap. I'm going to use my closure. This closure is so beautiful. I was so pissed that I had to use it for a braided wig. Then I'm going to be using those coilers. It's not a necessity, but I'm going to be using it to make something like this because this is what we're going to be using to form our coils. So if you want to buy this, you're very free to get this and not have to make. Alright, making can be a bit stressful, but it's not so stressful. So as you can see, I'm just using my coiler and just twisting that hair around the coiler. Like, you don't have to do it so tightly, like you don't have to twist it so tightly, because if you twist it so tightly, to detangle it is going to be a struggle. So just turn it lightly and just wrap it around. And it's very important to tie the ends in between the hair so it doesn't unravel. Alright, so I just went ahead to do the same for the other side, and that's it, guys. So I'm just going to put this in hot water. It's actually very simple. I put this in hot water, let it dry for a day or more, a day or 2 or more. Alright, and then I just unravel it when I'm done. So I'm going to go ahead to unravel. It's pretty easy if you ask me. I don't know, but I'm going to go ahead to unravel, and then just make sure you unravel very gently. Take your time. Anything that is stuck, just remove it gently, unravel. So you see how bouncy that is? It actually comes out so nice. So I'm going to detangle because obviously it's not the full hair you're going to be using, so you have to detangle into smaller pieces. So I'm just going to do exactly that, detangle into smaller pieces. I'm actually being very gentle. It looks aggressive on the screen, but I'm actually being a lot gentle than it seems. Alright, because you do not want to stretch this so much, because once you stretch it, it's going to lose that coils that you worked so hard to do. So I'm going to be using my mannequin head. I got a new mannequin head. I don't know if anyone noticed, but I got a new mannequin head. I got the size 22 because the 23 was bigger than me. I don't know how I made that mistake, but I had to get a new one so my wig could sit properly and fit properly. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put on my mesh cap. I'm just going to measure where I'm going to place my hair, right? My braids, I'm going to measure that out because wig prep is actually very important, because you kind of know what you're going to do when you're already prepping. So I just use the measuring tape instead of using my 2-hand method. Why? Because I wanted this hair to really be full and really be packed. I knew it was going to be smaller braids than I normally do, so I just didn't want to use like too much space. So I used the tape and I used half an inch rather. I used half an inch. So by the time I actually did that, I had not bought my closure then, so I had to go get closure, or my closure arrived late. So that's why I'm putting my closure now after braiding. So you could do anyone, you could do it before braiding or after braiding. Just remember to put it, okay? So it kind of affected my lines a bit because if the closure was there, it would be a little bit more nicer, but it worked out fine actually. So I'm just going to go ahead to sew it down. No biggie that I would normally sew a closure. The only thing you have to be mindful of is that you knot properly so it doesn't loose, and that you weave the top of your closure just to get away hairs from when you're trying to sew it down. And you knot it because the hair on the closure is normally very slippery. That's why I have that green rubber band knotting it. So I'm just going to go ahead and just sew it down. Keep it very, very flat. All right, we need it flat so your wig doesn't look anyhow. You want it to be as flat as possible, as flat as you can make it be. Stretch it out, then sew it down. When it's good, it's amazing. When it's bad, it's uneasy. So I'm done doing one side. I'm just going to go ahead and do the other side. Alright, so I do the other side, then I come back in and knot both of them together. Okay, so this is how it looks like. See how neat it is inside. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead to cut off the excess. Do not forget to cut off your excess. Obviously you won't forget, but I'm just going to go ahead to cut off my excess, and then we're going to get into braiding the back of the hair. So I'm using my crochet pin, I'm using my braided extension. Right, the braided extension, I'm going to use a smaller piece and then a bigger piece. So what I do, I take the what's it called, the volume I want the braided hair to be, and then I divide it into a smaller piece and a larger piece. Then I take the crochet pin and take the smaller piece in, and then place the larger piece in the middle of the smaller piece, then tie it. All right, I hope that, well, that's exactly what I'm doing on the screen, so I hope that is understandable. So I'm just going to go ahead to braid as I would normally do. I would just braid as I would normally do actually, and then I'm going to feed in the coily hair that we've done. I'm going to feed it in, and you don't have to, you can bring it out wherever you want to bring it out. That's the fun part. You can customize it to your own liking. If you want to bring it out at the bottom, you can bring it out at the bottom, anyhow you actually want to do it. All right, so I'm just going to bring out one of the strand. So the thing is that if you want to bring out one, you can bring out one. If you want to bring out two, you can bring out two. But if you're bringing out two, you have to take a space. Like, you bring out one, braid a little bit, and then bring out the next one. So just take your time actually and just bring them out as you want. So I'm just going to do it again one more time before we move into our closure and start prepping our closure. So this hair actually has more braids than more coils. I made it 40% coils and 60% braid. You can actually do whatever you want to do, okay, however you want to customize your hair. So for the ends of the attachment, I actually now use the red to just fill in. You want to feed this in very little and then build it up. All right, you don't just want to carry a large portion and just put it in, boom, because you're feeding in for volume and you're feeding in for length and not for volume. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So for the closure, we're going into the closure now. For the closure, the first thing I would do is take out my edges. This is very optional. You should know if you want edges or not, or if your client wants edges or not. I wanted edges for the first time. I was a bit hesitant to do this, but I just said, okay, you know what, let's make edges, let's bring out edges. And then you just want to braid that down. All right, braid it down to get it out of your way so you don't mistakenly braid it in to your hair when you're braiding. So get it out of the way, braid it down. And then I'm going to take this shine and jam control, edge control. This thing it's so amazing, guys. I really love it. It's like one product I am loving. Bro, it works well. So for the closure, you already seen it was a 4-parting closure, or yeah, it had 4 parts. So I just followed that, and then that pattern I just divided into 2, then braid. Okay, for braiding, if you ask me, I always like prepping my closure. It makes it more neater, it makes it easier for you to walk. You necessarily do not have to braid and you know, prep like I do, but I advise it strongly. All right, so I'm just going to take that edge control or the gel, that's the shine and jam, and just put that in the middle while patting. It just helps it keep it very clean, because a lot of people ask me, do you tweeze when you're making your closure? Do you tweeze your hair? And I'm like, no, I just pat it very well. I don't go ahead to tweeze it for any reason. All right, so if you pat it well, if you have it well laid down and then you pat it, it's going to have a very, very clean cut, a very, very nice cut. And then you just prep it down, so when you're braiding, it's a lot more easier for you. You don't have hair all over the place. Okay, so I'm just going to braid a little and then twist the bottom, because obviously the hair is like very long, so you're not going to braid in the end because you just leave there. So I braid in a certain point, then I twist the rest. So going back to the back of the hair, it's very important for you to do this step. I want to skip it, but I was like, no, it's important, let me show it. So this is to cover the closure from showing at the back or showing at the front, anywhere. Just, we want that closure covered. We want the joining to be covered. We don't want anybody to see the back of our head or to see through the wig, or you know, you don't want a messy job. So I'm just going to go ahead to braid the same way I would normally braid, but you saw that I put the hook through the closure and through the dome cap, and then I just brought it out and then braided as usual. It's very important to do this step. I cannot even emphasize how important it is. It's really important. This actually makes the wig more attractive, and you want to do it a lot more closer to each other. You don't want to space it out when you're doing it. So I'm just going to go ahead to show you how I did the closure. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead to make my closure right now. I've actually made the rest. I'm just showing you this one. So the first thing I do is I take my mousse and then I just take a little bit and comb it through the hair. This gives it a bit of shine, if you ask me, so I always do that. Then I'm going to just divide the hair, like, you know, divide it into smaller bits so I can hold. Mostly if you don't have anybody that's going to hold the attachment for you, that's what you want to do. You want to make sure you've divided it down. It's very important. It makes your work faster, and obviously you can't even leave your hair while you're braiding. Like, you obviously have to cut it down, or if you have someone that can cut it for you while you're doing it, that's very fine also. So I'm just going to go ahead and braid knotlessly. So I'm just going in little by little, little by little. I'm feeding it in until I feel like, you know, it's the size I want and it's very okay. Like, the thing is with feed in is like, you can actually feed in whenever you feel like your braid is too small or it's getting smaller. You know, you can actually feed in whenever you want actually. So I just thought to show you how I feed in. This is how I feed in from the front. I can also feed in from the back, but this is how I feed in from the front. So I just go ahead to place that attachment, and you see me dragging it down to just make it a bit more tighter so you don't have any hair raising. I see some people when they feed in, you can actually see the feeding, but if you're a beginner, you just drag it down a bit and it's just going to be a lot more tighter and look a lot more neater. All right, so this is how it's looking like. So the only thing I went ahead to do was I trimmed, I put mousse, and I did not put in hot water actually, but I am going to put it in hot water because it feels so heavy and I don't like that feel. But yeah, that's it guys. So lovelies, we're done with the tutorial right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and wear the wig on as usual. I'm going to be wearing it on in a kind of different method, not different method though, but like I don't normally do this for my braided wig. I'm going to be using the got2b spray to put it on so I could attempt attempt doing edges. Guys, this might not be perfect at all because I don't do edges normally, but I'm gonna try. I mean, first time for everything, right? So I'm just gonna take the wig and then show you guys. Okay guys, so this is what the wig is looking like. It's actually so pretty. This is it. I'm gonna go on and put the foundation right now. We're not brushing it in, we're just rubbing it on the lace. I'm done with the foundation now, so I'm just gonna put on my powder. So this is how it's looking like compared to where we started. I would say this looks very, very good and very natural. Not natural, but it looks good. I'm just gonna go ahead and wear our wig. How beautiful wig. See, I have the cap properly fitted. I don't know if you can tell, guys, it's no longer as loose as it used to be for me because I changed my wig head, my canvas head. I changed it from a size 23 to a size 22. I've always thought I was a size 23, but then I measured again and then I got my size. And I think my what's it called, my dome cap is a size small and not a size medium, but then it works too. This is not as tight, but it's okay. All right, so if you're not new to my channel, you can actually tell the difference of how flat this is. It's not raised, all right, because that's the 1 inch space. It makes a lot of difference. I don't know if you can tell, but I can tell with how fitted it is on my head. I've not even looked at the mirror yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and lose our edges. This is what we'll use in forming our edges, like I said before. Guys, trust the process. I know I look crazy, but I'm going to take my Got2b spray and I'm just going to spray it on the lace. But the thing is that I think this is actually very necessary for you to do if you're doing edges on your wig cap, or your wig rather. If you're doing edges for the first time, I think you should at least lay it down a little bit before cutting the lace. So Lovelies, it's already like, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, so I'm just going to take this off. All right, so we're having that. This is the situation we're having. I'm just going to take my scissors, right, and then I'm just going to cut off my lace. So the next thing I'm going to do is kind of take my brush and I just kind of measure how I want the edges to look. Alright, just kind of measure it before I cut it. So Lovelies, I'm done with my attempts to do edges. It was not easy. The battle was not easy. It's really hard. Like, I just wanted to attempt it so that, you know, with time I get better, because practice makes better. All right, so let's see our hard-earned work. Let's see how it turned out. I sprayed Got2b on the edges so it's strong, because it's braided wig and it's not every time I want to go out. Oh, this is glued. It's not every time I want to go out that I would want to spray it, so I needed it strong. All right, so this is how it's looking. I don't think it's that bad. I actually don't think it's terrible in any way at all. I kind of overcut, but it's not like really noticeable, so just be careful when you're doing yours. All right, so this is it, guys. I'm pretty impressed with how it came out. Baby, this wig is hitting. This wig is slapping. What? Come off it. Come off it. come off it. So lovelies, that's the end of this tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you learned a thing or two. If you enjoyed this video, I have a whole playlist you could check out. I have a whole playlist of hair videos you might actually still enjoy, so make sure to check that out and watch other videos you might like. All right, so if you liked this video, if you like me, if you like my personality, if you like everything about this video and this is your first time on this channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. All right, so thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much for watching to the end. And you already know, if you watch to the end of this video, you already know you're the what? You already know you're the real MVP. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Love you. Mwah. Bye.